Trying to think where to start with this. There have been 2 adaptations of the Fantastic Four before this. Okay, well, the 94 for Roger Corman was never officially freaking released, okay? That one was done for what, a rights dodge or some crap? Doesn't count, okay? I know everybody's all like, have you seen it? It's the Ashcan one. It's children. Settle. Do you remember the Brady Bunch movie where they took the earnestness of the sitcom and they flipped it around, and it was a comedy because it was all the tongue in cheek and the in jokes and all that about, and it worked, I guess. People enjoyed that. The first Fantastic Four movie there was a lot of tongue in cheek to it. You know, I still remember that bit with Reed reaching across the apartment to grab the toilet paper, and I'm like, okay. All right. Well, bless your heart. You tried. Then we had the second one, the Nyon Cronenberg version. Rather than, take it tongue in cheek, they're like, darkness, no parents. How do you waste Michael B. Jordan and Kate Mara? How do you waste those actors? Come on, bro. Which brings us to this one. Now, when they first announced it, I was like, oh boy. I was leery about it. And then I saw they were going to do it in the 1960s style, and I was like, okay, what are we doing here? Are we doing like it's in the past of the 616, or okay, it's its own universe and we're doing this? Okay, all right. And I was like, I'll give it a shot. I love Pedro Pascal. Freaking love that man. He's fantastic. No pun intended. I wanted to like it going into it, but I had this idea in my head of what they were going to do with it. This was Fantastic Four, right? This is the most meat and potatoes. It's old. It's dated. They're going to have to spice it up. They're going to have to punch it up somehow. They're going to have to find some twist to it to make it work. Wrong. Abso-freaking-lutely wrong, because what this movie does, and does so beautifully, is they play it straight. It's totally earnest. There is no tongue-in-cheek. There is no get a load of this silly crap. There is no can you believe this nonsense in the background. There's no poking around at the source material. It's all like, okay, we're going to do the Fantastic Four. We're going to do it the way Kirby and Lee did it. We're going to do it with that mentality. We're not going to knock it. We're not going to pretend like we're smarter than the material. We're not going to pretend like we're, better than this, which has been, that's been a lot of the problems with with Marvel to a degree. Sometimes when they do a Marvel movie, they cannot resist poking and prodding the source material just to be like, come on, we're doing comic books. Come on. But come on. They always have a little bit of that in there, even at its best. I remember in Iron Man 2 when they were doing that with trying to discover that new element, and what's his freaking name? Clark Gregg showed up as the shield agent. He's like trying to help Tony out, and he finds that Captain America shield, and he's like, oh, do you know what this is? And yeah, it's perfect. And he uses it to balance the contraption. And I was like, none of that this time. Absolutely none of it. This is Kirby's Fantastic Four. No question. And I leave Lee out of it a little bit because, come on, Stan Lee. But this is Kirby's Fantastic Four. This is the 60s Fantastic Four. There is jokes. It has fun. It is not, a stick up its butt, but they go into it deciding, all right, this is a dude that can stretch. This is a dude that gets rock body. All right. One sets on fire. Lady's got force fields and turns invisible. All right, we'll do it. There's a silver chick on a surfboard. Sure. She's from space. Got it. Her boss is a giant with a purple fire hydrant on his head. Sure. Let's go. And it all works. It all, start to finish, it works so lovely. This is the kind of adaptation I didn't know I really wanted. And I've enjoyed a lot of the Marvel stuff. I've dug. I mean, the Spider-Man stuff has been some of my favorite stuff. I've loved Captain America too, and all that. But this one plays it so close to the original comics in a way that I don't think any of the other adaptations have done. It's just stunningly good. And I didn't know how much I needed it. We have a lot of cynicism right now. A lot of it well-earned cynicism at the moment. We have a lot of stuff that's making us... It's bad, folks. It's bad. It's very bad. We know. I didn't know how much I needed this kind of adaptation to be this earnest. And the comics themselves haven't been like this in a long time. This is the Silver Age of comic books on the screen in a way we haven't seen in ages. There was this brief time, 60s to late 70s, when Marvel had their big second wave, just like DC had their big second wave. And this was that, Marvel had already had Timely Comics and the Atlas Comics era with Namor and the Freedom Fighters and Captain America. And then they started again the Silver Age, the science comics, just like DC was kind of doing. And the Fantastic Four was first. It's before the Avengers, before Spider-Man, before anybody else, there was the Fantastic Four. And it was a very straightforward, we're going to do this weird stuff and we're going to take it seriously. And we're going to present it to you, the audience, seriously. And it really did catch on. And that era lasted until everybody kind of marks the end of that type of storytelling as the death of Gwen Stacy. And we call that the Dark Ages or the Bronze Age or whatever you want to call it in comics. It's the death of Gwen Stacy was the line of demarcation, right? But before that, you had that different time that was, I don't want to call it innocent, just maybe earnest. And that started to go away. And then we had the speculator boom where anything to get attention was necessary necessary in big air quotes, anything to get attention above all else. Dark and gritty, so many pockets, nobody could draw feet. We haven't seen this kind of storytelling in the comic books in forever. So to see it on the screen brought a lot back to me because I used to read the old stuff myself. I was that kind of comic fan who wanted to know all the little minutiae and the details and the ultimate nullifier and the trial of Reed Richards and the Skrulls and all that stuff was, that was my thing. And to see them take that and put it on screen in a way I haven't seen before was really heartwarming to me. And I didn't know I needed it until it was there. People in the chat are also mentioning Johnny. Johnny, the adaptations of Johnny until now have been kind of disappointing because Johnny is kind of treated like a himbo in a lot of the secondary media. And he's not. He's Sue's brother. He's the son of Franklin Storm. He has every bit a place on that team as everybody else does. Ben is an incredibly skilled pilot. Johnny and Sue grew up under a really incredible scientist, and Reed is Reed. Everybody has a place on that team. He's not just there because he throws fire, right? He's there because he belongs there. And this movie treats him like that. And I loved it. He's still recognizably Johnny. He's still, he's a little bit flighty, a little bit more loose than the other members of the team, but he belongs there. Absolutely, unequivocally. And even late into the movie, you'll see the part I'm talking about that made me go, oh, yes. Like, heck yes, Galactus is perfect. You can tell they took all of the lore about Galactus and they put it into the writing without being explicit about it. There's all this stuff in the background. Galactus is not just this giant god guy who eats planets. There's a lot around him, how he's a universal force. He's necessary. He was the last survivor of the previous universe before the Big Bang, and then eternity commissioned him to be the destroyer of worlds. And it's not explicitly stated on screen, but it's all in there. You can tell bit by bit. I mean, there's like some Reed Technobabble even mentions that stuff. And you know, the people who wrote this know all that. And not only that, they love it and they get it. Galactus is, in a little bit of his own way, tragic. He's a sentient being who was turned into a living natural disaster. And he can't not be that living natural disaster, or else he is in agonizing pain and can't die. He'll just keep getting, the pain will just keep getting worse and worse and worse. And he won't be to die from it. He'll just be in agony, constant. And just when you think it can't get any worse, it can get worse. And you think, oh, that's a tragic guy, except he's also billions of years old. A lot of his humanity has eroded away, and there is an arrogance to him. He is effectively a god. It doesn't necessarily make him a bad guy, but he is kind of a bad guy. Regardless, they get it perfect. The look, the performance, the vibe. He's not just a cloud this time. They nailed Galactus. It was something to behold. And again, you could say, oh, this is silly. He's like a freaking kaiju kind of guy. What, crashing around New York City? Yeah, but they take it seriously. They're like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do Galactus on Earth. We're going to do Galactus stomping down the streets. We're going to freaking do this. And it works. Tara in the channel is mentioning Sue is that.
Tutsi frutsi.
One of the other things about Sue in the comics is she's one of the most powerful entities on Earth in the Marvel comics. In terms of superheroes, she is one of the epic.
What's that coming to go?
Like, she is the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four. She has dropped the Hulk before effortlessly. They managed to express that in this film in a way that you're sitting there going, it is the best I've seen adaptation-wise of a comic, because it is the Fantastic Four comics, the classic comics on screen. And it's beautifully done. It's beautifully done. It's wonderfully, there are nuances to it. There are little callbacks. There's just so much love. Even the after credits bit was just charming. Should you see it? Yeah. Yep. It surprised me. I think I liked this more than Superman. I really do. And that surprised me too. Because I did like Superman. I had my, little issues with it, but I liked this more than Superman. Hi. Do you have thoughts? Do you have thoughts? Did you like the movie, Grady? You like Fantastic Four? Should they go see it? So anyway, yeah, it is so good. It is such a good film. Go see it. I had fun. I had a surprising amount of fun. And now I have a kitty.